Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair augale ni hao chunashumme washmale. Ohai gazaimas guten morgen. Hola, boyo, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan marhaba. Buna mucho gracias swabi abhalli kare aaya. Hoş geldin anaya sayo khuya mora chi vatto chi hal jod kali mehra khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into Pakistan TV and are watching world this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and with me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my wonderful colleague, who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan. We all hope and pray over here that all of those individuals who are out there are doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I feel absolutely great. It is the Tuesday of this week, and Tuesdays symbolize, I feel like, new beginnings, just like Mondays. How your attitude determines the progress of the rest of the week, and we hope that everyone carries a lot of positive energy alongside with them.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Eesha, for saying that. And this is a Tuesday which you will remember forever. And in fact, yesterday, which was Monday, 27th of October, is the day where Eesha, certainly, ladies and gentlemen, can never forget that. And I think we'll actually look forward to that day every single year. There's a reason. And that is that the first highlight, I think, in a positive turn of events, Eesha, alhamdulillah, just yesterday got married. So congratulations to you, Eesha, alhamdulillah. And such dedication that you got married just last night and you're over here at work. And that's something that people really need to learn from. That's the kind of dedication that we would want from each and every Pakistani, you know. So even if it's your chachu's shadi, even if it's your brother's shadi, please make sure that you make it to work, because the bride is over here at work. So I think a great amount of respect for you. And Abdul Hadi, you know, congratulations to you too as well. She's a wonderful human being. I mean, as far as we have worked with her as a morning show team, I think we've found her a very amazing human being, not just that, very down to earth. You know, and whatever she wants, she will get it. Though, you know, so just be mindful of that. So congratulations to both the family as well to get started.
Thank you so much, Shahzad, with the sweetest wishes and the warmest wishes, and thank you for the team as well for the sweetest wishes. And we hope that our life starts really well. But now let's get started with our amazing highlights to our morning show. First things first, I have some stories, and Shahzad has some very exciting stories to share. Why don't you go ahead, Shahzad?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, where Prime Minister Shehbaz meets Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh, reaffirming their commitment to deepening Pakistan-Saudi Arabia relations and advancing joint efforts for regional stability and shared prosperity. Prime Minister Shehbaz held a warm and cordial meeting with His Royal Highness Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh. The meeting was attended by Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammed Ishaq Dar, Field Marshal Syed Munir, Chief of Army Staff, and senior members of the cabinets of both the countries. Discussions focused on matters of mutual interest, including enhancing bilateral cooperation in trade, investment, energy, and other key sectors.
All right, I think it's great to see how Pakistan is always progressing, is at the forefront of development. And speaking on our next highlight, that is regarding the third day of ongoing talks in Istanbul aimed at resolving the Afghan crisis that is facing a significant difficulty. Pakistan has presented a set of logical and reasoned demands which have been described as legitimate by both host countries and observers. The Afghan Taliban delegation has not yet shown full readiness to accept these demands. Despite acknowledging their validity, Taliban is acting under instructions from the Kabul administration, suggesting that the delegation is being influenced or controlled from the Afghan capital. The Pakistani delegation has emphasized that accepting these demands is in the best interest for all parties and is very, very vital to achieve peace in the region.
Exactly. So it looks like as if, you know, the talks are at a deadlock, and we hope and pray that in days to come, it's the region that we live in is more peaceful and there's more prosperity, and that the neighboring countries get along. In addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak about our Field Marshal Chief of Army Staff, where Pakistan and Jordan now have actually agreed to enhance their bilateral cooperation in defense and security sector. This was agreed during a meeting between Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Munir and Jordan's King Abdullah II Ibn al-Hussain in Amman. I think that's a wonderful news. You know,
That sounds-
expanding towards Jordan now.
That sounds absolutely exciting. And also, speaking about global news in an interesting turn of events, US President Donald Trump is on a 5-day Asia tour aiming to reshape trade security alliances in the region. Trump has begun his trip in Malaysia, signing several trade and critical mineral agreements to secure US supply chain during tensions with China. Now in Tokyo, Trump met Emperor Naruhito, receiving a royal welcome and Japan's first female premier in office for just a week. They signed 2 major agreements, a trade deal and a critical minerals agreement, joined at AMIR in processing rare earth minerals to reduce dependency on China. And let's see how this Asia tour unfolds. He still has to continue visiting different countries, and let's see what kind of progress does the United
Shehbaz was
States
supposed
offer
to be a highlight, no? But yeah, so we will speak about it. On the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, you know, I think this visit of Mr. Donald Trump, the President of the United States to Japan, is a very crucial visit, and it's because of the fact that Madam Sonai, the Prime Minister, has just taken over the first female Prime Minister of Japan. In addition to this, on the other hand, we will be talking about, you know, the Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2025 with the observed under UNESCO's ongoing theme of media and information literacy in digital spaces, building trust and countering disinformation.
And I think this day definitely needs to be recognized, because the way we consume information in this day and age of artificial intelligence definitely needs to be monitored, and we need more awareness regarding this.
Exactly. Well, you know, somebody who just got married speaks about it. Oh, wonderful.
But speaking about being more aware, I think we all need to be very, very aware about what's happening about the cricket life in Pakistan. It's time to talk about what every cricket fan in Pakistan is buzzing about. It is the first match. The first match of the T20 series is going to kick off tonight at the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, and it's going to be an interesting contest, especially with the new captain at the helm, Salman Ali Agha, and some fresh faces looking to make their mark. With both sides tied 12-12, the T20 is a head-on-head match against one another. Let's hope if Pakistan can ride out this wave and finally achieve a very victorious victory.
Exactly. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head out to the short break. Don't go anywhere. When you come back, we've got a great show lined up for you. Good morning.
People who stayed tuned with us. If you just joined in, we are World This Morning on Pakistan TV, and this first segment is going to highlight an integral step, an integral milestone that Pakistan is going to achieve. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is in Riyadh at the invitation of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to attend the 9th Future Investment Initiative, where a lot of prosperity, shared human resources, infrastructure and energy investment is going to be discussed. To speak more about this matter, we actually have AMIR HUSSAIN, who is a senior journalist who will be enlightening us about how this will help and benefit Pakistan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much.
It's absolutely wonderful to have you. So please give us a breakdown about what is happening in Riyadh right now, especially with over $5 billion worth of MOUs signed in the last 2 years between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. How do you think this friendship is unfolding?
Well, I think this is a continuation of the zeal and enthusiasm that Pakistan, the leadership has shown. And this future investment initiative in Riyadh is important milestone in the sense that Pakistan needs energy investment. Pakistan needs investment in larger, infrastructure, and also Saudi Pakistan Defence Pact, which is a milestone again, historically an important pact, which this will further strengthen relationship. And also, you see, Saudi provided $5 billion deposit for Pakistan foreign exchange BPAF. So this amount will be rollover. This is another important thing. And also the oil facility, $1 billion oil facility will be provided to Pakistan. 85 billion rupees has already been provided. Now this will be continued. I think these are important steps towards the shared prosperity and the shared goal between Pakistan and the kingdom, because kingdom has been an important partner throughout our history. today where we are at a at a great juncture where Pakistan needs more investment rather than loans. So this investment oriented approach will help country to boost economy, and we are already looking for a better future for the regional relationship, and also the Middle Eastern politics is changing, taking new shapes, and Pakistan is an important strategic partners. So I think Saudi-Pakistan relationship will determine the way for the future of the prosperous, peaceful, and an enlightened Middle East as well.
Exactly, and it's great that you've actually mentioned that that this very mindset of the transition into the mindset of getting into trade, and for all of that investment that you get for your country is far more better off than aid anyways, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So when we speak about it, let's gradually pick up the areas where all of these investments are being made in Pakistan, and how Pakistan or Pakistani government is making sure that we assist the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at every stage and every step.
Well, I think first of all, Pakistan needs energy investment, which is an important area, and you see that we are living in a very competitive economic environment in the region. So Pakistan has to reduce the cost of doing business through cheaper energy resources. Saudi is an important partner, and the kingdom has already committed a lot of investment and also the support in terms of providing cheaper oil for Pakistan. I think this is one area where we can see a great prospects for the future business. Otherwise also, the trade relationship between the two nations has to be beefed up through a mutual consensus on many issues. For example, the strategic issues. Middle East is in a strategic, in a situation where Saudi needs more strategic and a military support and kind of commitment that Pakistan has already provided. So I think these are important areas where we talk about the security, we talk about economy, we talk about trade. So three important dimensions, if they are put together, it will create a lot of hope and optimism.
Exactly, and it certainly looks like it as well, because the Honorable Prime Minister took to the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, says it was a great pleasure and honor to meet my brother, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh today. We reaffirmed the enduring strength of the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia brotherly bonds and discussed ways to further expand this historic and time-tested partnership in trade, investment and economic cooperation. And I remain deeply grateful for His Royal Highness's personal commitment and resolute support in advancing our shared vision for deeper collaboration and prosperity for our two nations. I think it's a great that both the nations are sharing, and how the Crown Prince have actually always been there out for the Honorable Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and for Pakistan and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But sir, now when we speak about the future initiatives and how multiple, I think plethora of investors would be coming in. How do you think that Pakistan really needs to play a key role in making sure that not just securing investments from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but for all the other partners of the future initiatives investments actually are brought down to Pakistan in terms of better investments?
Well, this is an important beginning, if you say, because if you build a cordial relationship, if you operate at a diplomatic level, as Pakistan is playing right now, not only in the Middle East, but also East Asia and other areas as well. So I think this will boost confidence of other investors who will come to do business in Pakistan. Already the government is taking a lot of reforms within institutions like AMIR and others to create an environment where you can do better business, you can attract investment from the outside, and I think this is the era of trade. So more trade cooperation, more strategic alignments, and a more confidence. The investors will need confidence, and Pakistan, the current leadership is focused on creating credible confidence in the country for investment. I think this is a good beginning.
Exactly. Thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly what I was about to ask. And I'm known for multi-tier questions anyway. So imagine that the civil leadership, the military leadership, what they have done is that with their untiring efforts, the diplomatic ascent in recent times that we have seen, it looks like as if, alhamdulillah, now Pakistan stands tall and is a major player in regional prosperity, may it be regional trade, may it be socio-economic development or economic development for that matter. Now imagine that the message is now out there. Do you think that we are prepared with the back-end machinery too? Do you think that we're getting rid of red tapeism? Do you think that that ease of business is something that people would love, when they are going to invest in Pakistan?
It's a big question because it's not a one-day thing.
True.
We have a legacy of red tapeism, of course, unfortunately. Many developing countries have this problem. But I think the intent is there. The intent to reform, the intent to create a better environment is there, and I think already we have seen that some reforms are taking place in FBR, some reforms are taking place in investment portfolio. We have green facilities, initiatives. We have initiatives for facilitating the business across the country. I think these are new institutional setups which will actually overcome the traditional conventional wisdom of doing business with multi-layered, restrictions. I think these are go away, but I think the intent is there.
Exactly, and it's not just the intent. I think that the entire setup is there. When when there is a will, then the way. And it certainly looks like that the civil leadership and the military leadership is making it work for Pakistan, and Pakistanis really can't keep calm. These are the happy days, alhamdulillah, and I'm really glad that I'm alive to see that. Mr. Hussain, I'm going to come back to you, but there's a bit of transition that I would want to kind of bring to my audience's attention. So I think there's a bit of transition. Go to that. When you come back, I'll speak about it. Okay, so not just that. Imagine that we have seen in recent times how Pakistan is enjoying, great ties with United States of America, how Pakistan is enjoying great ties with, or the ironclad friendship with China. You go to Turkey, you go to Middle Eastern countries, you go to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Qatar. You speak about Qatar. You speak about all of these countries. But now imagine that we will be having, or in fact, the Polish Deputy Prime Minister was in Pakistan. But now imagine that I'm going to speak about how Pakistan and Jordan have agreed to enhance their bilateral cooperation in defense and security sectors. This was agreed during a meeting between Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Asim Munir and Jordan's King Abdullah II Ibn al-Hussain in Amman. So that's exactly what I'm going to speak about with Mr. Hussain, who's over here, happens to be a senior journalist. What do you make of it, alhamdulillah? Every single day there is a good news.
Well, I think we are really fortunate to see, I haven't seen this sort of historic movements in Pakistan diplomacy today. Everywhere, Pakistan is standing tall. Pakistan is creating impact. That they are not only the strategic partners, but they are also building peace and contributing towards the peace, in particular in Middle East. You see Pakistan's meetings with Saudi Arabia, with the King and Jordan. Our Field Marshal is also very proactive in terms of offering support for the defense support and for the support in the Middle East, which is now which looks out for strategic partnerships, because unfortunately we have seen the role of Israel for a long time, and now there is a realization that Pakistan is a nuclear power, as a big military power, can contribute for the strategic interest of the Middle East and in particular Muslim nations. I think this is a great beginning again. I would say that this is a lot of optimism, hope and confidence is coming.
Exactly. Wonderful.
You've highlighted that wonderfully well, and we're so glad to get these updates and receive these updates, because this is what the world needs to know about Pakistan. But speaking about international matters, right, we have seen how President Trump is on his Asia tour. He's dominating it and making waves. Speaking about this, he has actually secured a $550 investment deal, $50 billion investment deal, and a 15% tariff cuts. How do you think his vision to dominate Asia is pursuing right now?
Well, I think this visit, the ASEAN conference, and then Trump's visit to Japan, these are and meeting with the Premier of China. I think these are important, beginnings again. This also discussion about the framework agreement, a consensus on the framework for trade. Trump said we are there for trade, not for war. So these are the things. I think importantly, and the most important thing is that when Trump was talking about all this, he also referenced and highlighted Pakistan, that Pakistan is an important ally, and Pakistan has contributed well. And even the Japan's newly
Female Prime Minister.
female Prime Minister, she said that we also nominate President Trump for
The Nobel Peace Prize.
So which is coming, the good waves, everywhere. So Pakistan is leading the narrative as well.
Definitely. And,
This
and
is
speaking
important.
of Pakistan, let's circle back to
Yeah.
Pakistan. Shahzad, why don't you go
Exactly.
ahead?
So imagine that, all of these things, alhamdulillah, actually give us the right direction.
Absolutely.
They move us in the right direction. We stand tall on all of this. But there's this one issue that I would want your, concerns, probably to be raised over here, or what you think, the aftermath can be unfortunate. Because imagine that even on the third day of the ongoing talks in Istanbul aimed at resolving the Afghan crisis is facing significant difficulties. Pakistan has presented a set of logical and reasoned demands which have been described as legitimate by both host countries and observers. What do you make of it? Because I think we have seen the strong stance of the Pakistan government, the Pakistani armed forces. We've given them the response that they truly deserved, and we certainly won't be sitting down, I think, any further, to kind of settle down for the Afghan soil used by the Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan, or the bandits as well, made by the Afghan Taliban government, and how the foreign minister went to India, and that was the time when such skirmishes started to take place on our border, and we gave the response. That's fine, alhamdulillah, we have all the ability. How do you think that these talks really need to end now?
Well, I think the message is loud and clear from Pakistan. As you know, Pakistan has clearly said that we will not tolerate any interference, any terrorist act from the soil of Afghanistan. We have hosted Afghanistan for many years.
True.
Pakistan has supported building, rebuilding, and trying to set up the governance order in Afghanistan. And I think there has to be some reciprocity. The talks are there, but talks must be on strict conditions that Pakistan cannot afford terrorism anymore, because we have lost a lot, and we also provided all support that was needed. And I think these talks Pakistan is coming from a very powerful standpoint. Diplomatically, we are confident that we have shown we have demonstrated that we have the capacity to pursue these terrorists, and we have capacity to create peace through even our powerful military machine, through our strategic vision, through our diplomatic, international partnerships.
Yep.
And I think this sort of message is going to Afghan government, and Afghan government has to, there has to be quid pro quo. Pakistan is always trying to find a solution which is long-lasting, which will help curb terrorism forever. But if Afghan government thinks that they have to create they have to come up with a very positive response, they have to make sure that the Tehrik-e-Taliban Afghanistan Pakistan does not use Afghan soil to attack on Pakistan.
Wonderful analysis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hussain, for being with us. Lovely to be in
Thank you.
conversation
Thanks
with
so
you.
much.
Khudai Paman, Allah Paman, Mata Saramina Kawamde. And towards the end, wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Sources suggest that certain elements in Kabul may be pursuing a different agenda, while Pakistan maintains that its position remains logical, strong, and indispensable for achieving peace in the region. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to kind of give you an update onto the humanitarian crisis within Gaza. And speaking about it, the municipal authorities have said more than 250,000 tons of waste have piled up across Gaza City amid severe water shortages and sewage leakages, creating environmental and health disasters for thousands of Palestinians. Municipal authorities warn in a statement that the crisis continues to worsen due to widespread destruction from Israel's 2-year genocidal war and the lack of equipment and resources to provide essential services. Authorities are unable to resolve the crisis because Israel destroyed more than 85% of the city's heavy and medium machinery, leaving no replacements available. They said Israeli forces are preventing municipal crews from reaching the main landfill in the border town of Jor al-Dik, southeast of Gaza City, located east of what is known as the Yellow Line.
And Shahzad, when we speak about this, it really highlights how unfair and unjust this is. Imagine subdued to living in rubble, right? You cannot breathe, you cannot have food, and the amount of damage caused in Gaza, it's going to take not just years, it's going to take an eternity to rebuild and recover from. And it's very devastating to see how Israel just blatantly violates
Exactly,
everything.
and it is certainly unfortunate, which is why I'm going to move on to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has acknowledged that the World Body Security Council faces problems of legitimacy because its composition does not reflect the reality of today's world. Speaking at a news conference in Malaysia on the sidelines of a summit of Southeast Asian nations, Guterres said that it is clear the Security Council has a problem of legitimacy and the problem of effectiveness because its composition no longer corresponds to the reality of today's world. He said the Council has 3 European permanent members, namely France, the UK and Russia, but it has only 1 Asian member and it has no member from Latin America and Africa.
All right, that was highlighted very accurately. And with that, we will be heading out towards a short break. Make sure to go grab a coffee for the next interesting segment, which is going to be about how we are going to evolve in the world of AI. Stay tuned with us. We will be right back. To all the lovely people who stay tuned. We hope that you did grab your cup of chai and coffee. And with this interesting segment, we will be talking about something that actually impacts all of us, and that is how we consume information in this digital age, from what we see to what we hear to what we share. It's actually perceived by artificial intelligence nowadays, from the memes that we see, from the breaking news that we see, and even the WhatsApp messages that are shared, the infamous WhatsApp messages. And this year, UNESCO's Global Media and Information Literacy Week is being celebrated, and it is actually a reminder of how artificial intelligence is captivating all of the AI
Exactly,
spaces,
Eesha, the
right?
theme is media and information literacy in digital spaces, building trust and countering disinformation, which obviously we do see as a menace in today's time. And, to kind of speak further more about it and to learn more about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a wonderful guest who happens to be founder of Media Matters for Democracy. He is Mr. ASAD BAIG. Hello, Mr. ASAD. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Morning, Tamiko.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you on our show. So let's get started. First things first, I think I would want you to kind of shed some light on how important or what is the significance of this week that we're observing, Global Media and Information Literacy Week, and why is it important for all of us to kind of make sure that we listen to you and understand.
Look, first off, we need to understand what misinformation is, right? So we are not talking about just false news, or we're not talking about just rumors, which we see on a daily basis, let's say on the social media platforms. But we are talking about, as the World Economic Forum put it, one of the biggest threats to the human society ever. And that's what misinformation is. That's what false information can does, and we've seen it in play in various scenarios where national security was concerned of various countries, not just Pakistan, where uh, ill in the societies was concerned, where even terrorism was concerned. Misinformation we've seen have played a role. That's number one. Number two, now, you rightly pointed out, and your colleague rightly pointed out, the artificial intelligence and the way AI is kind of amplifying this misinformation through social media platforms. Now, that is very common now. Sadly, we don't hear much about it. We don't read much about it. But the fact of the matter is that the AI algorithms are amplifying hateful disinformation on the platforms, and the platforms themselves can't do much about it because the sheer intensity and the sheer scale of this disinformation is so much that even if they want to do something about it, they can't do much about it. And we've seen this in play in, let's say, the Bangladeshi elections. We've seen this play in the American elections. We've seen this play in Pakistani elections also. So I think this is that week that we commemorate not just the idea that disinformation is harmful, but also the ways we can counter misinformation constantly within our own
Exactly,
society.
and Asad, in addition to this, thank you so much for pinpointing that. But in addition to this, since we are observing this week, how do you think that what does media information literacy mean to you in today's fast-changing digital world? And in addition to this, what are some of the biggest challenges? You have mentioned or tapped onto a few of them, which communities are facing to build trust on digital media. Now, that's very essential.
I think one of the biggest challenges is the vulnerability of the population, right? So in Pakistan, for instance, we already have a population which the literacy rate is not very high. Let's just say that, right? Secondly, we are not talking about common literacy. We are talking about specifically the media and digital literacy. Now, you must have heard this. There are a lot of people who are above 60 of the 60 years of age are more susceptible to falling for disinformation. That's true. But my concern is that even the younger ones, for instance, the school-going children or the university-going folks, even they are susceptible, and they are what we call the actionable audience, right? They're between 18 to 24 years of old, and we've seen in the world, not just in Pakistan, but all of the world, that they are most susceptible to not just disinformation, but also the violence that may be, the resultant violence that may come out of disinformation.
All right, I think maybe Asad is facing some sort of disruption. But Shehzad, when we speak about artificial intelligence, right, what do you think? Do you think we are receiving what we want to receive, or is AI-generated algorithms introducing new content to us?
I think it's for people to kind of decide, the kind of digital literacy that they are getting from digital platforms.
Definitely,
But,
definitely.
my recommendation on this day would be that, imagine that I've just seen how even in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and in China, what they've done is that, if people do not have a university degree, they're not being regulated by the government authorities to
Oh
be
my
content
gosh.
creators. And
Oh my
that's
gosh.
exactly something, or that actually sets the direction. So I'm going to get back to
Let's circle back to
Asad Beg
Asad.
over here as well. So Asad, I
Asad, are
do
you
know
back
that there
with
was a
us?
bit of glitch, but now I'm going to ask you about, the kind of digital content which is being created and the artificial intelligence algorithms that Eesha just spoke about. What is your main say on that?
Are you talking to me? Is it a question for me? I'm sorry.
All right.
Asad, we are talking
Asad,
to
can you
you.
hear us?
Could you hear us?
Okay. Okay. Yes, I can hear you now. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Asad, let's actually, before this question, actually, let's talk about something very integral, and that is we actually live, unfortunately, we live in an era where misinformation is at its peak, where deep fakes are now progressing. Why do you think media literacy matters the most right now? Media literacy, information literacy, and how do you think your organization, Media Matters for Democracy, is helping people achieve that?
I think two very important interventions that I would like to make here. One is the idea of kind of limiting the people who can, let's say, create content online. I think that's a bad idea for this side of the world, for specifically Pakistan. You know why? Because a lot of people who are now coming to online spaces are actually people who we call the working class, quote unquote, right? And they're joining platforms like TikTok and various others, and we see that they're making a living out of it. Not just that, they're actually creating a whole new genre of content. So in that way, I think in our countries, there are a lot more diversity, let's just say, as compared to Middle East or any other place in the world. So I think that'd be a bad idea for us to actually ban people from going online. Secondly, what you were asking about, what to do in terms of media and information literacy. Look, that's very important. Like I was saying, the most vulnerable are the people who lack literacy in Pakistan, right, or anywhere in the world. Now, and we need a specific skill set for them, which is for them to be able to understand a, what is disinformation, b, how it's spread, and c, how to counter it. Now, this can be done through various mechanisms. One of the things, for instance, one of the case studies that we've seen in the world is by inculcating this media and information literacy in the school curriculums or the early education curriculums. A lot of schools are doing that on their own, but sadly, I feel that this needs to be done on a larger scale. That's number one. Number two, I think regular, constant campaigns and reminders for the people who come across this kind of misinformation online on platforms, that need to happen. Sadly, my feeling is that those campaigns do happen, but more of in a knee-jerk reaction manner, if you know what I'm saying, right? So that needs to happen regularly, constantly. And thirdly, and the most importantly, I think this kind of show that you're doing right now, talking about misinformation, telling people about what it is, and telling them how to counter, how to sort of and what to do if you encounter misinformation. This kind of discussion needs to happen online, offline, on the television, in the paper, everywhere, in most of the mediums, so people understand what misinformation is, and how to kind of protect themselves from that.
Exactly, and thank you so much for mentioning that as well. But on a lighter note, Asad, because we are a morning show too, I think if any day, God forbid, any of my phone calls or videos are going to get leaked, I'm going to blame it or put it on deepfakes or artificial intelligence. I think it's a blessing in disguise too. But very quickly, I'm going to come back to my point which I made earlier, and that was that imagine that in United Arab Emirates, in China, what they've done is that for all sorts of content creators, they have a regulatory authority. And now what that regulatory authority says that, you know, a person or a content creator who's out there but does not have a university degree will not be allowed to create content, which I do believe is good. Now imagine that way you have pinpointed that, you know, the literacy does vary in different parts of Pakistan as well, and the content that we have seen unfortunately in the recent times, may it be from, you know, people who are actually being nabbed by police now or are put behind the prison, were out there in the open and spoke their minds, whether it made sense or not. Do you think that it will be a good idea for Pakistan that for all of those content creators, may it be news agencies or anybody, obviously we do have a regulatory authority in the name of PEMRA, but do you think that it should work?
Look, news is a different thing altogether, right? And news, in a certain manner, news has to follow a standard. When you do journalism, I'm a journalist, I'm a trained journalist, for instance, right? When we're doing journalism, we need to follow a certain standard, right? But when you're creating content, that's a very diverse category. And my concern is that if we put that kind of bans, I mean, China is a very different story, right? China does not really need to progress in any way or manner in technology. They're on a certain scale right now, right? They are it, so to speak. We, on the other hand, we need a lot of progress right now. We need a lot of diversity in our languages. We need a lot of diversity in the technology that we're developing and so on. So I think that might necessarily not be a very good idea for us. On the other hand, I think what we can do, frankly speaking, is one, obviously, I talked about the media and information literacy campaign and the education and so on. But I think the other thing that we need to do on a legal front is to make, the laws, specifically the civil laws, stronger. Now, the focus in general has a lot been on criminal laws, and any journalist would know that the criminal laws in general in Pakistan are not very effective. Let's just say that. So the civil laws, specifically the civil defamation law, like we've seen, let's say in the UK, for instance, I mean, you wouldn't see and say anything on the platforms in the UK. Because of the fact that you'll get nabbed and the courts can fine you and you'll have to pay through your nose. But that sadly doesn't happen in Pakistan, or in general in this part of the region, in this region of the world. Now, that's really, to my understanding, problematic, because when that doesn't happen, then the governments or whoever is using the law, they kind of move towards the criminal, quote unquote, legislative practices, which is problematic. So, one, media and information literacy campaigns, that's the carrot.
Asad, you've actually highlighted that very, very well, and it was so wonderful to have a person, a guest on the show who was so well versed and well articulated with the topic. Wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for being here and for informing us and our audiences about how to gain information in this era of disinformation. And the question, I think, remains that is it scarier that artificial intelligence has the capacity to spread misinformation, or the fact that people have become so lazy that they don't want to fact check?
But artificial intelligence is not going to do it on its own. Somebody will be prompting it, So I think by the end of the day, it's still people, who will be creating that kind of information. But it is our responsibility that we make sure that we check the sources as well. But what Asad said, even in UK, do you remember that the protest was going on with Tony Robinson? 12,000 people have been in prison, even in the United Kingdom, because of the extra use of their right of freedom to say whatever they wanted to say. But yes, I think, such regulatory authorities need to come in. But from here onwards, ladies and gentlemen, there's a bit of transition that we're going towards. It'll be probably towards sports. Let's go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and staying with us, obviously we're going to update you on to what's happening in the field of cricket. So first up, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan takes on South Africa today in the first T20 international of the three-match series in Rawalpindi. Ahead of the opener, the team held a training session at Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, focusing on batting, bowling and fielding under coach's supervision. Earlier series trophy was unveiled in Islamabad by Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha and South African counterpart Donovan Ferreira. The second T20 is scheduled for Friday, with third on Saturday at Lahore's Gaddafi Stadium, followed by a three-match ODI series. And the team is going to turn from green to pink, as the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium will turn pink today when Pakistan take on South Africa in the first T20 international. National cricketers will wear special pink-themed kits in the first T20 international match. South African players and match officials will wear pink ribbons. The stumps used in the match will also be pink, and commentators will also share awareness messages during the live broadcast. We all know that it's for the breast cancer awareness. And in addition to this, I would want to kind of speak about the white ball coach.
Definitely,
Because there was a presser by the white ball coach, Mr. Mike Hassan, and he said that national white ball team head coach Mike Hassan said that various options will be considered regarding preparations for the T20 International World Cup, which is set in February. I think it's going to get started in the mid, probably 7th or 10th of February as well. While holding a news conference in Rawalpindi, Mike Hassan said that Babar Azam has been included in the T20 squad and he will bat at number 3. Head coach said it is hoped that Babar Azam will make a great comeback in the T20 format. He said that Mohammad Haris is young, he still needs to improve. Hassan said that Usman Khan bats well against spinners. He has been given a chance at the T20 series. Those who are not part of the squad should focus on domestic cricket. With all of this, ladies and gentlemen, because the first T20 International is set to take place today at 7:30 p.m. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to speak with one of my wonderful colleagues, Mr. Syed Muhammad Abbas, and expert and an analyst as well. Hello Abbas, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today? Good morning.
Wa alaikum Shahzad, how are you? How's everything?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much, brother. And Abbas, let's get started with the right combination for Pakistan cricket team today for the first T20 International against South Africa.
First of all, from your platform, I would like to say I'm not a manager for Pakistan tickets specifically because my phone has been ringing up, especially even your phone might have been ringing on because people have been asking about the tickets, and that shows how people have been anticipatingly waited for this match, specifically watching Babar Azam back in the Scots and the breast cancer awareness. The Pakistan team would first, it will be the first time you'll see Pakistan team in the pink kits over here. Everyone has been excited, but one thing, I know we need to back this team because the T20 World Cup is on the lineup, but even you were mentioning about Mike Hassan, he spoke to the media regarding the team combination. First question, what comes in my mind was for Syed Ayub. His main key role job is to bat, but unfortunately, I know he's got that little bit edge because he has bowled brilliantly in the Asia Cup, but he's given a consistent chance over here. Speaking about Haris, not a big fan of him, but I know his average has not been up to that mark. The shots what he's played, it was not required in the Asia Cup. But we need to understand one thing, that he's played whole his life as an opener, a one-down position. I know it's a right call dropping him off, but getting Usman Khan back into the side, and he says that he plays brilliantly against the spin. I remember if you go through his recent track record in the domestic structure, in patches he's performed, but not against spin. Brilliant against fast bowlers because using the feet against spinners, he has never been a good opponent against spin. So I don't know why was he into the team. Secondly, if you talk about Sufyan Mukim, one of the spinners who actually made a mark in the Pakistan team, why was he dropped off? That's the biggest question. Irfan Niazi could have been a brilliant choice in down the order. He's performed brilliantly with the bat, with the field, and can be handy with the ball. Was the captain of Pakistan Shaheen. He's not in the side. Then if you talk about Abbas Afridi, one of the all-rounders, one of the good pacers you need in the Pakistan team when you're playing in Sri Lanka, he's not in the side. So there are many questions. But obviously this is the team. I hope you stick around with this team now if you want to work for the World Cup, because still I feel there would be many chops and changes in this team, because when you talk about the opening department, like I said, Syed Ayub has not been performing well. I know Pindi wicket is a wicket where it's full of runs for batsmen because Q factor would play a role, and specifically.
But at this point of time, there's this one thing that I'm going to ask you. Rather, I would want your opinion on that. Imagine that for the very first time, I've seen a press conference of a coach who's very honest with his words, and he's not making fake promises with anyone. And that was something which I do believe is going to help our players in getting back and knowing their reality. Imagine where he said that Mohammad Haris averages 17, and that's exactly what he averages in domestic cricket as well, is something where I do know for a fact that how Haris needs to go back. Numbers, Abbas, we can differentiate over here, and it's because of the fact that imagine that whatever the team's requirement is, that's the number that you're going to bat on. Unfortunate for Hassan Nawaz, where how he had to go down, or Hassan Ali, where how he wasn't even given a single game, but yet they were dropped. How do you think, let's speak about the players who have actually come in. You've spoken about Usman Khan. let's speak about, it looks like as if we have a makeshift wicket keeper. Either it's going to be Shehbaz Farhan or Usman, right? What do you make of that?
One thing, Shahzad bhai, I was coming to this point, because even discussing on the platform on Pakistan TV yesterday, we were discussing the sports show that one thing was good about Mike Hassan, at least someone spoke specifically when you talk about Babar Azam, because if you go through the former coaches of Pakistan team, I've never seen speaking about Babar Azam, what flaws he had, because he was a permanent part of the team. It was a good time when he spoke about Babar Azam that I've spoken to him. He's got some strike rate issues. He needs to bat well. He needs to make some more shot selections, and he'll be back in the Pakistan team. It was a good sign that at least someone spoke regarding the Pakistan weaknesses, even Haris, I would say. But when you talk about the middle order, specifically, like you talked about makeshift wicket keepers, Shehbaz Farhan, the issue what I felt was as a wicket keeper, because he represents Islamabad United, and talking to one of the former coaches, I spoke to them and they said the issues that when he's given a chance as a wicket keeper, he struggles with the fitness in the batting. So he does not want to be a wicket keeper, because even in Asia Cup, I remember we used to discuss that how much has he practiced as a backup wicket keeper when Haris was not performing well. So he's not he's not a wicket keeper, genuine wicket keeper, I would say. But the thing is that when he's opted to as a wicket keeper, he struggles in the batting order. Usman Khan in the middle order, because we have got Abdul Samad even in the squad where he bats, or will he play a match? Because if you just go through the lineup, Salman Ali Agha is there, Hassan Nawaz, like you mentioned.
Abbas got that. Abbas got that because we're running short on time. Very quickly, win the toss and bat first or ball first in Pindi?
It's going to be a due factor, Shahzad. I would say win the toss and ball first, because the due factor would play a crucial role over here.
What do you think will be a total which Pakistani bowlers can defend?
You need to go by 180 plus. Because it's South Africa. I know they don't have the main players like Miller, but they have got Brevis, they have got De Kock coming back, and it's going to be
first, obviously, it's the batters who will be defending it as well. We hope and pray that it's a great game as well in Pakistan and South Africa. Earlier, ladies and gentlemen, in home series, we did win against Bangladesh, so we hope that it actually gives them that morale. And yeah, Pakistan plays good T20 cricket, because unfortunately we didn't really do that well in Asia Cup. Well, let's not talk about it. That's in the past. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're actually going to bid you farewell. For all of those individuals who've been tuning in, who've been showing their love, thank you so much. You guys are great. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves. Have a great day. And Allah Hafiz. Bye. We are World This Morning.